Alright, it is my second favorite time of the month, the first being Complete Comic Haul for the previous month, and I guess you could say the third is technically the third, because the second is buying more comics, but without further, well, no, in terms of videos, this is my second favorite of the month, the first favorite being the complete graphic novel haul of the previous month. For those of you who don't know, why do I do that? Why do I wait till October 1st to show off all the comics I got in September? Just in case something comes in on September 31st, or September 30th, rather. Just in case something comes in on September 30th from like a YouTube subscriber of mine, Instagram follower, whatever. The latter is more plausible than the former, by the way. It is entirely possible that it could have happened. Because they don't tell you. He tells me the day of. Which is fine, because so far, knock on wood, I have at least been in like around the area. Yeah, I've been at work, but that's 10 minutes away. I go home after work. And it wasn't like I'm away on vacation. That pissed me off. I would be like, damn it. Obviously, I would not blame him because how is he supposed to know unless I mention something. But so far so good. It's usually in like October, November. So coming up pretty soon. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. These are all the comics I'll be reading this month. Not ... so far. Some of these I will add. In fact, because this is the way that the videos have been released, and because of work and busy and all that shit, I do not have all the image books I read in September video published. Not even recorded yet. Never mind published. But that will have some additional comics in there. And you also saw the Norse mythology. No, wait, I did show that one off. I actually might not have, but there was some, like, Animal Pound. I know I did not show off until I reviewed it. So that's gonna happen this month, I'm sure. But I'll try to do a video on that. Like, do like a... Actually, I did do that. I did do the comics, like, reading for the rest of the month. So 2 videos per month now. One at the start and one in the middle. And then, there you go. Let's get into it. First and foremost, and this is much to the dismay of the Lending Library, because it's currently overdue, is Watchmen. Absolute Watchmen. Now, to those who are saying, like, oh my god, how do you sleep at night? That's overdue. You need to put that in right now. How you... blah, 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 blah. They don't do fines anymore at the local library. And if I'm waiting on a book that's been checked out of the Lending Library since September 13th, and it's now October 1st, I don't like feel bad for holding Absolute Watchmen hostage for an additional week. So the whole point of this is I'm almost done. I am currently on chapter... I just got rid of the bookmark because it'd be nice to show everyone. Hey, everyone, this... Nope. Chapter 10. So I'm currently on chapter 10 of 12 of Absolute Watchmen. Now, I do own this book, but not in absolute format. I'll reiterate this again. It's a quick TLDR. Every time I reread Watchmen, I want it to be in a different format. Next time, it'll be in the omnibus/deluxe edition format. And hopefully, eventually, I can read it in DC compact size without having to spend money on it. Because I am sorry to those of you who need the DC compact editions. That's the only way you'll be able to read those classic stories. But I'm not going to support the DC compact editions. They are fucking tiny, and it's bullshit. They're that tiny. Tinier than a digest-sized book. Marvel has it right. Marvel is digest size. $15 I think is a little bit much, but that's a list price, so it'll never go above $15 unless tariffs and inflation and all that. But right, it's like the flat fee is $15. And honestly, the presentation of those Marvel premieres, it's kind of worth it, in my opinion, even if it is digest size. Duh. But yeah, I'm not gonna support the DC compact. It's way too small. It's $10, and I love that the $10. I love that Far Sector is a 12-issue series that's like over 200 pages, and then you also have Batman Court of Owls, which is not even 200 pages, and that's 6 issues, half the length of Far Sector. That's also $10. So that's nice, but it's a small ass book. It is, I think, only a little bit bigger than the manga. And I get it, they're going with the manga crowd. I get why people like the DC compact editions. Does not mean I need to support it just because the grand majority of people like it. All right. Tangent over. Another one that I still have not finished is Soma. I've had this like since before I went away on vacation in August. The reason for why this is just time got to me. Like time is my worst enemy when it came to the end of summer and the start of work. For those of you who don't know, I work at a school, so I get the summers off. But yeah, Soma. Then might as well just do all the ones back to back that I still have not finished. Time Waits by Chip Zdarsky. So why did I mention the writer? So this pile is what's known as the Image Comics Writers pile. Every single book in here, starting with Time Waits, is all of them are written by an Image Comics writer. So Chip Zdarsky, he's done work for Image. We'll have Brian Buccellato up soon. He's done work for Image. In fact, I'm reading one of his works. I was just thinking to myself, you know what? I think I should grab that. So both of his works I'll be reading this month, which is ironic. So that like it comes full circle. It completely comes completely full circle. And the reason why I split the difference, it's just something that I decided to do. Just kind of was thinking about it back when I first started work last year. And I was like, hey, why not just like split the difference? I just keep saying it's split the difference sounds weird. So it was just kind of like what I used to do is it would be 2 in 1. It would be something by Tom Taylor in the same pile that I had something written by, or something I was reading that was written by Brian Azzarello. But now I do either or. It's either what I call the miscellaneous writers. So you have Alan Moore. You know, he's done work for Image, but I don't have it because there's no trades of it, unless it's Spawn. But I don't have Tom Taylor. So you have Tom Taylor, like Dark Knights of Steel, in the same pie, and then they also have Watchmen, Soma, Giant Days. Like those are the miscellaneous writers pile because none of them had to work for Image, or I just don't own what they did for Image. Like in Alan Moore's case, Alan Moore is an exception. All right. Explanation over. Let's keep going. I gotta check what time it is too because I keep an eye on time. All right, we're doing good enough of time, although it's already almost 3, and I feel like we should be halfway done by now. I'm not even halfway done. All right. So this one was a surprise because I didn't even expect this one to come in, and that is so what happened. So I'll show it, then I'll explain. Silk Hills by Ryan Ferrier and Brian Level, which I did not check to make sure Brian Level did anything for Image. I got this because of Ryan Ferrier, who I believe it better be at least. I believe is a co-author. Nice. You don't tell them you don't have a credits page, do you? Nope. No credits page. You just get right into the damn book. All right. On the back. At the end. Yes. Okay. So co-written by Ryan Ferrier, who Ryan Ferrier picked up the series Rat Queens after Curtis J. Weeb left. Which that is so weird. That's also an Image title, by the way. And Image Comics it's your baby. Like, you can do whatever you want to it. You can even bring it to other publishers if you so desire. But it's completely creator-owned work. So it's kind of weird that, like, a creator-owned work has 2 writers. And it's not, like, co-written. It's just Curtis J. Weeb leaves. It's Ryan Ferrier. Like, it started out being written. It was created by Curtis. But now it's Ryan. I find that weird. But anyways, moving on. Because at least, Fleet of Thieves was created by Robert Kirkman. And just writers would come on and off of Fleet of Thieves. Even that's kind of weird to me. But that's technically an exception because of the technicalities. But anyways, so the whole story behind this is my library for lending books from other libraries has 2 catalogs, 2 websites you visit. The first one is this one, Interlibrary Loan. And then the second one is the local one. If I don't want to say the name of it because it will dox me. But the second one is local, is a newer one. The older one sucks. The Interlibrary Loan one, the older one sucks because You'll have books like this. They'll say, "Sorry, we don't have Silk Hills," and then the librarian who deserves a raise if she hasn't already gotten one, she deserves a raise for all of her hard work. She'll. No, it's not just this; it's everything she does in general. But she'll put it in like 3 weeks later. And then they'll say, "Oh, you'll be had this whole time, haha," and not, "Oh, we lost it. Oh, it was checked out of the London Library." No, just, we had the whole time, and we were just messing with you. And then the new catalog, they never did that. They never do that. They will say, "Oh, we have this book. Actually, we don't because we lost it." Sometimes that happens, but it's very rare. With interlibrary loan, it's almost like 6 out of 10 times. No, I'd say it's 150-50. No. 6 out of 10 times you don't have success. And then with the new system, you have success like 8 out of 10 times. 9 out of 10 times. 9 out of 10 times. But anyways, Silk Hills. And that's not for every 10 books. It's every 10 times that you put in a stack of books from both catalogs. That's what I'm talking about. Not for every book. For every time, for every set of books you put in. So that makes more sense why I say 6 out of 10. So 60% luck with the old system, 95% luck with the new system. Alright. I always have to mention things like that. I know some of you guys don't care, some of you guys just want to see the video, you guys want to see what I'm reading, but I think to mention those types of things, is kind of interesting. Like, I know it's to sound selfish, but if I were watching a YouTube video, I would mind hearing stories like that. So I just assume, like, hey, it's gotta be an audience for that kind of thing too. Wonder Woman Volume 6 by Brian Azzarello. This has been my favorite Wonder Woman run ever since I read it, and honestly, even though I haven't read a whole lot of Wonder Woman besides this, I think it's gonna stay true forever. I don't think I'm gonna read Tom King's run on Wonder Woman and be like, "Oh, that was actually really good." No. Like, better than Brian Azzarello's run, at least. No, I'm sure, if anything, I'm not gonna like it at all. I do want to check it out, though. Curiosity has been piqued due to the controversies. But, going back to Wonder Woman, Brian Azzarello, really damn good run. It deserved the omnibus treatment. DC, if you're somehow listening to this, make that one of your evergreen omnibuses. So, Wonder Woman by Brian Azzarello, the omnibus, is always in print. It deserves it. And obviously a reread. So from here on out, I'm going to say whether or not it's a reread. So far, the only reread has been Wonder Woman and Watchmen. Wonder Woman and Watchmen and 2 W books are the only rereads so far. This is another reread, and this is Devil's Red Bride by Sebastian Gurner. I was supposed to put this in last time, but I think I just had too much checked out, so I had to sacrifice it. And I think one time I forgot. I don't know, but I've been dying to read this one again because I remember really liking it. My kind of story, and it's also from an indie publisher. So bonus there too. Finally, I will be finishing for the first time ever, because they never had the last 2 volumes, so it was only reread. So it started as a reread, but now it's finally one I'm reading for the first time ever, finishing for the first time ever, and that is Scalped, volumes 9 and 10. So the first 5 volumes were the hardcovers. Say the first 4. First 4 they had the hardcovers of. And I think it might be 5? No, 10 soft covers, 5 hardcovers. So first 4 I read. First 8 volumes of these I read. But they said no volume 9, and I can't read volume 10 until on volume 9. So it's like, damn it. But then I tried again. I'm so glad. Actually, I saw it. I saw it on a new catalog. I knew the new catalog was gonna have it, so I got all excited, and I have it in my hands right now, and I cannot wait to finish the series. That will definitely be put into my top 5. What will be taken off my top 5? Probably Wicked and the Divine, honestly. Maybe, well, actually, what was the other one I said? Because I feel like there's another one. So Wicked and Divine, I think, honestly, the more I'm thinking about it, that shouldn't be the case. But if we could go to number 6, Wicked and Divine will be my 6th favorite comic of all time. I just do top 5 because it's a really tight squeeze, and it makes it even more apparent that these are the phenomenal comics, and you should absolutely read these. So far, not including Scalped, because it has to be a series I've finished too, and it can't be ongoing. It's like Saga, that doesn't count. So it's Preacher, will always be number 1, by the way. Sin City, Walking Dead, Wicked and Divine, and Paper Girls. Honestly, Walking Dead may get pushed off. Even then, like, it's so hard for me to choose. Honestly, like, if anything, even number 5, it's hard for me to choose to get rid of, like, to put that as number 6. I don't know, but it just means that Scalped I enjoyed more than that series. But it's still damn good. Like top 10 is 10 out of 10. Top 5 is 10 out of 10 too. But like top 10 is all of them are 10 out of 10s. Like completely perfect. But top 5 are more perfect. Like maybe I have like a few minor gripes. Like number 10 is Y the Last Man. It is a 10 out of 10, but I have a minor gripe with Y the Last Man. It's just kind of uneven pacing, in my opinion. But top 5 is like perfect as perfect can be. No complaints whatsoever. Alright. Sandman Universe Volume 2. Nightmare County. Oh, sorry. Sandman. Nightmare County Volume 2 is Sandman Universe. Sorry, that's what I was reading. The Glass House. Can't wait to read this series. I really liked Volume 1. Written by James Tynion. Oh, and Scalped is written by Jason Aaron. So Scalped, Jason Aaron, Nightmare County, Volume 2, written by James Tynion. Now on to the Image titles I'll be reading this month, all of which are for my PC, unless otherwise specified. There is, actually, I'm going to take out my copy. I know this is silly, but I might as well do it. I mean, I have it, don't I? But yeah, so the whole thing, like, I almost want to do another cut, and if I had more time on my hands, more time to kill, I so would do that. I so would go that far, because of that one mistake. I didn't mention who the writer was for Scalped right away. I caught myself, thank God, but I had to go back in time. That's how that's how OCD I am. And honestly, how passionate I am about video making. Because that little thing makes a big deal to me. Alright. So there are technical exceptions here, because the format I'll be reading a certain series in that I mentioned before, that was from Image, I'll be reading in oversized hardcovers and not in compendium format. Those of you guys are probably thinking it's Walking Dead. Is it? Well, time will tell. Alright. Get ahead of myself. Alpha King by Brian Azzarello. This series is a reread from Image, by the way. My PC also. This series was just so much fun. It was just loads of fun. One of those really good ones. It's pretty epic. Come on. There you go. Okay. Going back to the task at hand. Alright. Alpha King. So it was fun, Dad. Like, it's not anywhere near as good as his Wonder Woman run. It's just fun, bad. He knew what he was writing. The co-writer here is Nick Floyd, right? Yes, Nick Floyd. They knew what they were writing. It was a ridiculous comic based off beer. So it's just fun, bad. You don't even have to be drunk to enjoy this either. Like, you can just be completely sober, and it's pure fun. Like, that's the number one word to use to describe this comic is fun. It's dumb. It knows what it is. It has fun with it. And it's very entertaining. It kept my interest throughout. Never bored with this one. Nice little palate cleanser, too. Like, if you're reading something that's like Silver Age and you want to read something else, you don't just want to read one comic or 9 comics per night, like, because you're like me and you're OCD, so you want to get that 10th book in, but you're also tired and you want something quick. Alpha King will do that for you. It'll bridge that gap. Alright. But then we had a series by Brian Azzarello, one that I had high hopes for and was completely let down, which is really weird because I read issue 1 the first time, hated it, read it again, really loved it, and it's the whole reason why I bought the entirety of Moonshine. Volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All of which is done by the same exact creative team behind 100 Bullets. That is partly why my hopes were so high to begin with. So way back in the early days, I think even before I read Scalped for the first time ever, I read 100 Bullets. Loved it, was so pissed off my library did not have the entire series. Saw Moonshine issue 1 was free on the Kindle, read it, was completely let down. Gave it a few months, read it again, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good, I need this entire series, I need to buy it right now. And I did basically do that, and then I read it, and I was like, well, that's kind of, it started out pretty good, but then it just got kind of convoluted and weird. And I think now that I have the expectations I have going in, I'll like it a lot more the second time. It actually made its way onto my list. I have my phone, my notes app of the Redeemer Image Comics 2025 list. Because by the end of the year, I am going to do if I think to, if I do end up doing this. At the end of the year, I'll be reviewing all of the Image books I've read this year. Now, I might just do a playlist because I've already reviewed them before, so why not just do a playlist? It takes a lot to take out that many trades from my PC, because that's the other thing. They have to be from my PC. If I read my library's copy of the deluxe editions, but I own the compendium, that still counts. And that's what I'd show off at the end of the year. But as long as I finish the entire series, it counts. Or what was out at that time, at least. It counts. But anyways, Alpha King. Alright. Next book up, and this is... Here, let's do all the reviews back to back. Can I? No, I can't. No, I'll just do this back. Alright. Another reread, and that is Slots by Dan Panosian. This one I also did not like that much. But I would say I liked it more than Moonshine. So it's also made its way onto my Redeemer Comics Image 2025 list. Nice, 1, 3, 5. Okay. So it made its way onto that list. But Slots was just kind of like generic. I felt like it was just kind of, it felt very, this is your first outing as an indie comics writer, and it shows. That's what I mean. And I don't mean writer in general. I am specifying indie comics writer first time. What that mean? First time. Now, what do I mean by that? Why does that make a difference between he's writing for Superman and he's writing his own tale? Unfortunately, the only way I can explain that reasoning, explain what I mean by that, is by just simply saying that's what comics is. There is a difference between indie comics and like Superman. Like, yeah, Superman they can make a Virgo comic. No, don't forget what I just said. Okay, so Superman, that is, yeah, obviously it's different than Slots is. But what I mean by that is you have to have a certain way of writing for indie books. And if you're just starting out writing indie books, even if you've written a really long run on Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man respectively, writing an indie book is a bit different, and does take a little bit more added effort, in my opinion. And I felt like Slots felt very much like his first attempt, and maybe he gave the second draft, second draft. Hey, here it is. That's all I'm gonna do, because I'd write the whole thing twice. So passing that in as my final paper. And that's how it felt as. His second draft. Because it wasn't completely clunky. It didn't feel like it was completely polished. But, again, redeeming it, I could come out saying that that's not the case at all this time around, and completely love it. Same as could be the case with Moonshine. Yet again, is the same exact thing, too, is Ghosted. Ghosted, this is literally the 10-year anniversary compendium. And the length shows. It shows that this is written by Joshua Williamson, and it shows that this was written by him 10 years ago. Same as is the case with Slots. So because I just explained that, we're going to move on. And also, I decided to read this month because of Halloween. Don't have a whole lot of horror comics. Moonshine is technically horror, and so is this. Towards the end of the month, I'll be adding in some actual horror comics. So I want to make it. So one is a 6-issue series, and I want to make it so I finish that 6-issue series on Halloween night. That's the whole point of that. So you're not gonna see that until after the 20th. Is my point. But I Ghosted is 20 issues, so I want to get that done, read first thing first time of the month. All right. Now on to a series I'm reading for the first time ever, and I added in last minute, and that is The Humans, volumes 1 and 2, written by, check who was written by, Tom Neely, I think is a writer, although I thought he was the artist. No, sorry, it is drawn by Tom Neely, but it's actually written by Keenan Marshall Keller. I have never read anything by either of the writers, either artist or writer, so going in completely blind with this one. All I know is it has to do with apes, and it's like Planet of the Apes but R-rated, and it piqued my interest. And flipped the artwork, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good, and yeah, it's a lot of cursing. It's a lot of where the jokes come from, but I don't think it's insistent on that. I think it is like it tries to tell its own story. Yeah, it's gonna be like sexual content, nudity, just for the sake of it, because we can do that now. It's Image Comics. They let us do whatever we want. But I'd also argue that it's at least has some class, at least some. Now I'm judging it based off its cover, basically. So take that with a grain of salt. All right, and then volume 2. 2-volume series, I believe 10 issues total, right? Of course, you don't have it in the back. I can go all the way to the interior. Yes, 10-issue series. And the reason why volume 2 looks like so much bigger than volume 1 is this 5 heads. This is 5 to 10. Actually, it's 11 issues because we have a 0th issue, don't we? Yes, we have an issue 0. So 11 issues because there's an issue 0. But sometimes issue 0 is just 10 pages long. Which I really hope is not the case here, but we'll find out soon enough. In fact, I gotta get going because I do want to get on my books, and I got shit to do today also. So let's try and get a little bit speedier on this. All right. Next up is deep cuts. Yeah, I did that thing again, and if like even people who are brand spanking new to my YouTube channel know that I got deep cuts this month. Oh, sorry, last month in September. Those of you who are new to brand spanking new to this channel knew that I got deep cuts last month. Now, why do I have my library's copy? It's just a novelty. So, you know what? This is a nice little segue, actually. All right, so deep cuts. This is like jazz. It piqued my interest, and the more and more I look into this book, the more and more I'm excited to finally read this book. So I decided, you know what? The only way I'm going to be comfortable doing that right away is if I get the library's copy. That's part of it. But the other part of it is the reason why I own series like Ghosted and Paper Girls is because I started out reading them thanks to my local library. But I loved them so much. Ghosted, I just never got to finish. They lost volume 2, so I was like, I got by myself. Don't I? If I want to finish Ghosted, I got by myself. That's what I did for Ghosted. But for Paper Girls, as you could tell when I went over my top 5, it is one of my favorite graphic novels of all time. So no fucking shit, I'm gonna want to own it myself. In my PC. Despite the fact that my local library has it. And as an added bonus, they also have the hardcovers. Now, the hardcovers, Compendium was 1 volume, all in one, but the hardcovers is 3 oversized, omnibus-sized hardcovers. I cannot wait to read this series in oversized hardcover format. That is going to be the absolute best thing. Best compliment to the series that I absolutely adore. Alright. We are not done yet with the comics in general that we're reading this month. We are done with the Image titles. So, next we got 2 left. Alright. Ultimate X-Men by Mark Millar. We're so glad that they got me the oversized hardcover. It did specify, but still. Like, the way it was, it said what the 2 story arcs that are collected in here, but it was 2 in 1. It's like, okay, that means a hardcover. And yes, indeed, it was here. Because this is what how I want to read this series in. Because it's going to get... also, if I have to read the individual trades, fine. But I want to read this series in oversized hardcover. So obviously it's not a reread. Ultimate X-Men, not a reread, obviously, as you could probably tell. I just want to mention that. But this one is a reread, and this is Skip to the End by Jeremy Holt. I think this also has to do with jazz, doesn't it? I know vinyl. No punk bands. I know it had to do with music. I remember that much. But this one was just okay. And I think that Jeremy Holt is a criminally underrated writer, so I felt like it was a good idea to give them their second chance for this book. It is they are them, by the way, for Jeremy Holt. Did I say in the back? Because sometimes you do give no. All right. I just remember that from Made in Korea. Because that was the image title that they did. See, I almost fucked up. That was the image title they did, was Made in Korea, which is really damn good. And that's why I said, like, for Skip to the End, I'm like, yeah, I didn't give that a second chance. Because I didn't like that much the first time. I didn't hate it. Far from it. Just wasn't super crazy about it as I thought I should be. And what do I mean by that? Why am I saying like that? Well, if I had to explain that, no offense to you guys, but that like shows that you guys are really new to reading in general. Because if I gotta explain why I say I felt like I kind of almost feel bad for not liking his work that he seems to done put effort into, if I gotta explain that, then that's really bad. It's one thing if I say the wrong word, but another thing entirely if you can't understand something. Okay, we're gonna move on. That's I'm insulting people now. But cannot wait to read these books. I'm gonna count them in shorts 11, and Watchmen's 12. But I don't read all of Watchmen. I know I'm skipping the extras of the back matter. That's all text. Oh no, sue me. I did it the first time. The first time I read the entire series back to back, including back matter. So that counts. I can choose not to do that again ever again because I did it the first time. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What the fuck? What? That makes no sense. I didn't add that much. It was 9 before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 with Paper Girls. I gotta put Ultimate X-Men and Skip to the End to the side for now. God damn it. Alright. So I fucked up. Whatever.